70 degrees, partly cloudy at Jack Klein Field at Frank Eck Stadium on the campus of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana, the home of a once bitter rival on the gridiron for Michigan. This time the two schools meet on the diamond. It's Michigan and Notre Dame on WCBN. Zach Linfield here, ready to get you started from northern Indiana, 10 minutes from the border of the great state of Michigan. And let's get you the starting lineup today for the road team, the first road broadcast for me this season for Michigan. And leading it off, it's going to be the right fielder, Clark Elliott. Batting second, the graduate transfer from Michigan State, that's Joe Stewart. Batting third, that's Ted Burton. Jimmy Obertop behind the plate, he will bat cleanup. Batting fifth today for the Wolverines, Tito Flores. Riley Bertram, he'll be sixth. Matt Fry, seventh. Jack Vanner Mortal, eighth. And finally, rounding it out for the Wolverines is Jordan Rogers at 9, and they will face off against a hard-throwing freshman left-hander, and that is Jack Finley for Notre Dame. Just incredible numbers on the season for this kid. 3-0, 0.73 ERA. Just like that here from South Bend. For the folks back in Ann Arbor and across the country listening in for Michigan, hey Ann Arbor, let's play ball from South Bend. Clark Elliott is ready to lead things off for Michigan. And the first pitch from Finley is well outside. 5:32 is the first pitch, and here's the second to Clark Elliott. That's in there for a strike. The men in black this afternoon. Behind the plate is Grady Smith. At first base, Jeffrey Speziak. And at third base, Perry Costello. Here's the 1-1 to Clark, and that is laced back to the screen for strike two. Finley now making his fourth start, sixth appearance on the season as a freshman. Here's his 1-2. Curveball, a little chopper towards the right side of the infield. And here comes a charge. Finley unable to make the play as the throw goes over the head of the Irish first baseman, and Clark Elliott will reach base. Went right over the head of Carter Putz, and that will bring up Joe Stewart for Michigan.
Center fielder, number 5, Joe Stewart.
Stewart had some tightness in his forearm after being hit by a fastball on Sunday against Cal State Fullerton. Seems to be all right. The Wolverines had their leadoff man on in Clark Elliott. First pitch to Stewart, bouncing ball left side towards the shortstop. That is Pratzner, and he is unable to make the play. Right in the hole, he had to range over to his right, and Joe Stewart, the speedy Joe Stewart at that, he reaches first base. Wolverines, they have runners on first and second to begin this game, and that is one heck of a start for Eric Backage's club against a really nice throwing left-hander in Finley. And that'll bring up the Wolverines' Ted Burton. Michigan right-hander looks at strike one, a fastball that is up and out. And it clips the plate in the strike zone, says Grady Smith. Working from the stretch on the first base side of the rubber is Finley. Glove sits on the knee, comes set at the letters, then down to the belt. Takes a long look at Elliott over at second base and delivers with the left hand. Just missing outside. One ball and one strike to the Wolverines. Ted Burton, runners on first and second base, just getting started here from South Bend. And Finley will take time, take a long look at that Navy cap being worn by the Fighting Irish today, and will settle back in for the 1-1. He delivers the 1-1, and it is a strike low and outside. That's a beautifully placed pitch. Another fastball from Finley. It's a nice park here at Jay Klein Field at Frank Eck Stadium. Notre Dame in the Gothic script down the left and right field lines, just beyond the coach's box. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ted Burton, the Wolverine 3-batter today. Bounces in, and Clark Elliott, he'll be eager, grab third base, and Joe Stort in turn will also grab second. Wolverines, they capitalized on the wild pitch on Sunday, and here comes, this is the coach for Notre Dame. That's Link Jarrett in his 3rd season. He'll go and have a chat with Finley. And with no outs here in the 1st inning, we'll bring it back to how this past weekend went for Michigan. And, well, in short terms, it went well. They won 2-1 on Friday, 8-2 on Saturday. Then they won on a walk-off, 11-10. And I was going to bring up the whole wild pitch situation. 6 wild pitches thrown by relief man Michael Weisberg for the Titans on Sunday. And he was pitching really well up until the 9th inning, and that's when it all kind of fell through for him. Joe Stort was the first man to reach base in the 9th inning for Michigan, and well, they didn't really need much more as he came all the way around to score on wild pitches. Two balls and 2 strikes, runners on second and third base. Ted Burton looking at the 2-2 from Finlay. And there's ball 3 to fill up the count. Right when this broadcast began, we had fully partly cloudy skies and a lot of sun. The sun now being completely shaded by clouds above the broadcast booth, but looking into the distance above what I believe is dormitories on the campus of Notre Dame, still some blue skies, but it looks like the clouds will continue to cover. Here's the 3-2. That one's inside. Michigan has loaded the bases with no outs here in the 1st inning. Good AB by Ted Burton. And here's the man I chatted to before the game today. This is Jimmy Obertop, the Wolverine catcher. And he has been struggling as of late. Had plenty of strikeouts in back-to-back games against Iowa and Purdue-Fort Wayne. And then over the series against Fullerton, went 2 of 10. He said, I gave myself a haircut to try and get back into my hot ways, and he will pop this one up towards the right side, but running out of room is the catcher, Lamana. And let's get you that defensive lineup for Notre Dame. And left field is Cole, Myers in center, Coetzee in right. Brannigan is over at third base, fantastic third baseman. Prajner is at shortstop, Miller at second, Putz at first, and Lamana behind the plate catching balls and strikes from Jack Finley. Just 6 minutes into this ball game, no balls, 1 strike to Jimmy Obertop. He will fly one back to the screen, and Finlay is ahead 0-2. Although just in his freshman season, the left-hander stands at 6'3", 200 pounds. Roxbury High School in Ledgewood, New Jersey. Still working out of the stretch with the bases loaded. Elliott at third, Stort at second, Burton at first. Here's the 0-2. Inside to Obertop, almost got him on the shoelaces. Notre Dame in the all-white uniforms. Notre Dame in pretty classic lettering, arced across the chest in the navy hats with the ND logo. Finley delivers to Obertop, and that is popped back to the screen as well. Michigan in the cream pants and the traditional blues on the road, with the classic Michigan script across the chest. A smaller number on the right side of the torso, and the big maize number on the back. Obertop swings the bat slowly. Here's the 1-2, and that misses low and inside as well. So Finley does not have much control of the breaking ball early against Wolverine bats. It's been missing low and inside almost every time. Fastball's been pounded outside so far in this first inning. And here is the 2-2 to Obertop. Bases loaded, first inning. Popped out of play. My favorite part about these uniforms for Michigan is that it's the stirrup look. The stirrups with 3 maize stripes about halfway through them. Two balls, 2 strikes. They're going to pick back to second base for Joe Stort, and he's not going to be even close to being tagged out, as the second baseman Miller tried to make a quick attempt at tagging him. Two balls and 2 strikes to the Wolverine catcher, Jimmy Obertop. There is a pop-up into shallow right center. Coates coming on, and the second baseman Miller will make the grab, and the throw home is in time. So Clark Elliott will have to remain at third base. Jimmy Obertop just did not get enough of that one, and that's a pop out to the second baseman for the first out of this ball game. Bases remain loaded for Tito Flores. Tito coming off of perhaps one of the best games of his Michigan career. 3 for 3, a 3-run homer in the 8th inning to give the Wolverines the lead. And he will pop this one up in the infield. Lamanna, playable for him at the Notre Dame logo, and he will make the grab reaching backwards. So Tito goes first pitch swinging. The bases loaded here in the top of the first inning. Wolverines do not want to strand all three of these runners without grabbing at least the lead. 0-0 tie ball game just underway here from South Bend, Indiana. Pretty good crowd. Smaller grandstand for Notre Dame. Finley comes set. Face off against Riley Bertram. Ball one, just above the strike zone, maybe half a ball's width. It's a nice pitch, though, from the left-hander. 12 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, just 1 earned run against Florida State. 12 Ks, 3 walks. Making his 4th start in his collegiate career, finds the strike zone and evens it up with Bertram 1-1. Bases are loaded for the Wolverines. Back-to-back base hits, both in the infield, and then a walk from Ted Burton to load the bases. But 2 consecutive pop-outs. And there's a line shot in the left center. Going over is Myers, the center fielder. He makes a sliding catch at the Irish logo in center field. And the Wolverines have stranded the bases loaded in the top of the first inning with no outs. And Michigan will have to go on the defensive end to face off against the 10th-ranked team in the country here in South Bend. 0-0 between Michigan and Notre Dame. We'll be right back for the bottom of the first inning. Notre Dame starting pitcher Finley does a great job to get out of trouble in the top of the first inning. And here is Michigan's arm. It's the southpaw from North Gwinnett High School in Suwanee, Georgia, Walker Cleveland. Left-hander stands at 6'2", 175 pounds. He boasts a 1-2 record, a 7.65 ERA, 20 innings pitched, 22 hits, 17 earned runs. But his K to walk ratio needs some help. 11 Ks to 16 walks, and quite a few extra base hits allowed from Walker. Works exclusively from the stretch, a high leg kick and delivery to the leadoff man, Spencer Myers, and it's in there for a strike. Jack Brannigan bats second, Jared Miller third, the second baseman for Notre Dame. Carter Putz bats cleanup. We'll get to the rest of the lineup here in a moment. And a little flare into right field, and that sends Clark Elliott just 3 steps back, makes the grab, and there's the first out of the afternoon for Walker Cleveland. So back to that lineup for Notre Dame. Batting 5th is Ryan Cole. Jack Ziska bats 6th. 7th is Brooks Coetzee. Lamanna bats 8th. And finally, Zach Prajner will round things out for Notre Dame. There is ball 1 to the second batter, Jack Brannigan. Brannigan on the season, .260 batter. Slugging percentage of .500. And he looks at ball number 2 on the fastball from Walker. Much like you'd see with the Notre Dame football helmets, the batting helmets for the Irish are quite the same for the baseball program. There's strike 1 as it's fouled out of play down the right field line. Cleveland comes set for the 2-1. Delivers, swung on, missed. Beautiful breaking ball on the outside portion of the plate. And Brannigan missed badly on that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. Just underway from South Bend. Michigan left the bases loaded in the top of the first inning after having no outs. Here's another foul ball down the right field line. Simply flicked away by Jack Brannigan. Last time out for Walker Cleveland, 3 2/3, 4 hits, but he walked 4, allowed 2 runs in the 6-3 loss last Wednesday to Purdue Fort Wayne. Ground ball towards the right side. Easily playable for Burton. A quick throw over to first base gets the speedy Jack Brannigan. And that is 1 and 2. Walker Cleveland looking to make it 3 in a row. Here's the Michigan defensive lineup. Jordan Rogers in left. Joe Stewart will be in center field. Clark Elliott already made a play so far. He's in right. Matt Fry, Riley Bertram play the left side of the infield. Ted Burton and Jack Vanner Mortal will shade the right side. Behind the plate, the everyday catcher for Michigan, Jimmy Obertop. Here's the first pitch to Jared Miller. Misses just low. Clouds now filling up the entirety of the sky in South Bend. There's a ground ball left side towards the shortstop Bertram. Plays it on one hop, throws to Vanner Mortal, and that's a 1-2-3. Nicely played inning by Walker Cleveland. We head to the top of the second inning here from the campus at Notre Dame with the wind starting to swirl a little bit. The score 0-0. Michigan has 2 hits compared to Notre Dame 0. We'll head to the top of the second inning when we come back.
Number 24.
We welcome you back into WCBN Ann Arbor as Matt Fry to take the plate for the Wolverines to lead things off for Michigan. Facing off against Jack Finley for Notre Dame. 0-0 score. Michigan, they left the bases loaded in the top of the first inning with no outs. Back-to-back pop-outs and then a strong shot to center field by Riley Bertram was eaten up by Myers on the run. And there is ball 1 to the Wolverine third baseman, Matt Fry. Bent over stance across the plate. Hands a bit away from the ear and swung on and missed for strike number 1. Fry had perhaps the best series of Michigan bats against Cal State Fullerton. He looks at ball 2 well outside, steps over the plate, and takes a breath for the 4th pitch of the AB. Went 4 of 10, scored 4 runs, 2 RBIs. A solo homer on Friday that gave the Wolverines the lift to win that game. There's ball number 3 just off the plate. And Fry makes the most of his batting stance. Like I mentioned, very bent over, and he looks all the way across the plate. When there's a ball, he makes his way down to first base, but it's called for a strike. And back into the batter's box goes the graduate transfer from Davidson. Here's the 3-2 from the freshman Finley. Line drive right side, past the shift. That beats Miller over at second base, and the Wolverines now have 3 hits on the afternoon. The leadoff man on for back-to-back innings. Matt Fry continues to stay hot. He's now 5 of his last 11.
First baseman, number 51, Jack Van
Here comes Jack Vanner Mortal. Him and Jordan Rogers, the bottom 2 in the order, combined 4 of 20 against Fullerton. The Friday through Sunday series, just 2 days off. 1 full day back at it today on Tuesday. First pitch to Vanner Mortal, catches the outside part of the plate. Jack really looking to find his swing at the plate ever since returning from that injury that occurred against East Carolina down in the Keith LeClaire Classic. Return to the lineup, been pretty much in the 8 spot since. Here's a line drive down the right field line, perhaps trouble and foul. The left-hander Finley already ahead 0-2 to Jack Vanner Mortal. A 0-0 ball game. Campus of Notre Dame. You look way over to our left, you can see touchdown Jesus and the Notre Dame football stadium. You can also see the basketball arena, dormitories in center, lacrosse field in left. Vanner Mortal takes ball 1 on a breaking ball that's again low and inside. A big batter's eye that shades more towards right center. A berm all the way across the outfield besides in left. And Vanner Mortal takes ball number 2. It's now even at 2-2. Finley comes set at the belt. High leg kick delivery, here we go. Strike number 3, got him looking. There's strikeout number 1 for Jack Finley, and the first strikeout for either side in today's game.
left fielder, number 18, Jordan Rogers.
Here is Jordan Rogers for Michigan. Two of 10 against Fullerton. 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs, a big double, and he also walked once. Finley asking for Lamanna to repeat the signs with Matt Fry over at first base. First pitch to Rogers in there for a strike. He's got the fastball location working for him, pounding the outside and really up and in. Not much low and in fastball wise. Low and in is for the breaking ball for Finley so far through 1 1/3. Second pitch is a fastball just outside, so he continues to try and work that spot. Kind of daring Jordan Rogers to poke it into right field. Finley comes set, working the right side of the rubber. Delivers to Rogers. There's ball number 2, just above the strike zone. Bit of a tighter strike zone so far for Grady Smith. Here's the delivery on the 2-1 to Rogers. That's way above the strike zone. 3 balls, 1 strike now. I don't know how much to put into Notre Dame already getting an arm warmed up down in the bullpen. That's Jackson Denny's getting loose for the Irish. Just 1 1/3 into this ball game. Big cut, big miss by Jordan Rogers. Almost fell out of the right-handed batter's box. Count is now full at 3-2 with 1 out in the top of the second inning. Rogers, a swing towards Finley. Finley comes set. Rogers swinging his bat. Finley checks over to first base at Fry, and he's back in standing up. Really leans in with that glove on his thigh. Comes set at the belt. Leg kick back towards second base, delivers to Rogers. He held off. That's ball number 4 and walk number 2 of the game for Wolverine bats. Well done by Jordan in the Sunday game. He had a great game. Had a RBI ground out in the 3rd inning that scored the Wolverines' first run as Matt Fry came around to score. He then walked for an RBI with the bases loaded in the next inning. Doubled, came around to score on an odd error by Fullerton. Grounded out and then singled and stole a bag before he ended up being stranded in the 8th inning. And this ball is popped up left side for Clark Elliott. On comes the left fielder Cole into foul territory, and he makes a grab by his left shoulder. And that is the 2nd out of the inning as Clark Elliott goes first pitch flying out to left field. Well, here comes Joe Stort. Hard hit ball towards the shortstop in the 1st inning. And for the 2nd time already in this game, here comes Link Jarrett. The Irish, they are going to go to the bullpen with 2 outs here in the top of the 2nd inning. We're going to see a new arm come into the game already against the Wolverines. And we will be right back from WCBN Ann Arbor to give you coverage of Michigan and 4th-ranked Notre Dame here on Tuesday afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. We welcome you back into South Bend at the campus of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. 0-0 ball game, but there is 2 outs in the top of the 2nd inning. Michigan has 2 men on for Joe Stort. However, Link Jarrett, the head man for the Irish, has called on a new arm. It's the right-handed sophomore, a big-bodied 6'4", 240-pounder from River Ridge, Louisiana, Jackson Denny's, making his 9th appearance on the season. And a straight-up 0 ERA. No earned runs on the season. Furthest into a game that he's gone is 2 innings. His last appearance just a few short days ago against Clemson right here in South Bend. 2/3 of an inning. He allowed 1 unearned run. He walked 2. Here's Joe Stort. He singled in the 1st inning on an infield single on a sliding play by the shortstop Prajner. Fry at 2nd. Rogers over at 1st after his walk. Here's the first pitch to Stort. That's a little blooper down the right field side, but well foul, out of play safely for Joe Stort. Denny's ahead 0-1. A quick appearance on the mound for Jackson Finley. Now Joe Stort with the chance to perhaps drive in a run. A little choke job towards the right side. Stewart's got a lot of speed. He's safe. The glove flip from the second baseman Miller was not in time to the first baseman Putz. And that's just a really odd little bouncer towards the right side. And folks, Joe Stewart's now 2 for 2 with 2 infield singles.
Number 3, Ted Burton.
One going to the shortstop and the other going to the second baseman. Just perfectly placed by Joe Stewart. He's now 2 for 2 today. Here's Ted Burton. He walked in his first AB. The right-hander Denny's works from the far first base side of the rubber. Offset stance comes set with the glove at the belt. A little scrunched up delivery comes home with a breaking ball for strike 1 to Ted Burton. For the second consecutive inning, Michigan has loaded the bases. First inning, loaded the bases with no outs. Loaded the bases now with 2 outs here in the second inning. Ground ball left side, and that's Brannigan making a throw over to first base, and just in time to beat Ted Burton. And the Wolverines have now left 6 on base in the first 2 innings, and I'd say that's not optimal if you're going to try and knock off the number 4 team in the country. We'll be right back for the bottom of the second inning and more work for Walker Cleveland against the Irish here on WCBN Ann Arbor.
It's Notre Dame 0, Michigan 0.
Carter Putz to lead things off for Notre Dame. The Irish first baseman against Walker Cleveland had a great first inning of work against the Irish. Fly out, back-to-back groundouts to win the Irish first. Comes set from the stretch. Here's the first pitch of the second inning to Putz, and a breaking ball comes backdoor for a strike right across the plate and into the mitt of Jimmy Obertop. Quick working goes Cleveland against Putz. The 0-1 misses just outside, goes back to the fastball, and that would have been a strike perhaps on a left-handed batter, but the right-hander Putz lays off on it, 1-1. There's a breaking ball that is floated into right. Barely having to move for it is Clark Elliott, and he relaxes under the ball and waits for it to hit his glove. 1 gone. 2 straight innings where Clark Elliott has made the catch for the first out. Here's Ryan Cole. Cole was 1 for 4, scored a run on Sunday against Clemson. He sees ball 1, and now here's the pitch again from Cleveland in there for strike number 1 in the outside corner. Consistent theme between Wolverine arms as they like to work at a really fast pace. Here's the 1-1. There's another line drive into right. That sends Elliott back to about the track, and he makes the catch. And Elliott, who bats lefty but catches righty, his glove on his left hand has been very busy so far. 3 of the 5 outs in the game so far.
Jack Ziska.
Well, here is Jack Ziska. He pinch hit on Sunday against the Tigers when 2 of 3 scored a run. Filled in for DM Jefferson in the DH spot. Now Jack's back in the DH position, getting the start against the Wolverines here today. And a fastball outside misses from Cleveland, ball 1. Just over a half hour into this one, bottom of the second inning, 0-0 score. Wolverines have left 6 on base to begin this game. And second pitch will bounce into the catcher, Obertop. 2-0 now. Walker Cleveland comes set. High leg kick and delivery. Fastball misses once again outside. 3 balls and no strikes. 1 ball away from putting the first Irish batter on base today. 330 in left, 400 in straightaway center, and 330 down the right field line. Very symmetrical ballpark, as there's ball number 4. Another fastball misses outside, and the Irish have their first base runner on today by way of walk. So Jack Ziska continues his nice hitting at the plate. Back-to-back games with a walk. Here's Brooks Coetzee. He was 1 for 4 against Clemson. He also drew a walk. First pitch from Cleveland misses above the strike zone. There's 5 consecutive balls thrown now by Walker. We'll have to settle back in before the 1-0 to Coetzee. He'll take a quick moment to check on Ziska over at first base. Vanner Mortal retrieves. Notre Dame winners of 8 straight. Here's the 1-0, misses low and outside. As I mentioned, winners of 8 straight, 5th straight game in South Bend. And over their last 4, they've only allowed 7 runs total. Very good pitching, great defense. There is ball number 3. Walker Cleveland will take a couple of extra moments off the back of the mound before stepping back up to the rubber for the 3-0 to Brooks Coetzee. And quickly out to the mound comes Steve Merriman to have a chat with Cleveland. Notre Dame has had a sensational season so far. Record at 20-5. In the ACC, they are 8-4. Started off the season with a couple of major wins. Then played in the Cambria College Classic in Minneapolis, which featured plenty of Big Ten opponents. Played against Illinois, beat them 6-1. Played against Michigan State, beat them 2-1. And Minnesota, they beat them 3-1. And there is ball number 4 to Brooks Coetzee, and they have 2 runners on back-to-back walks. Here is David Lamanna, the Irish catcher.
David Lamanna.
And Cleveland will have to settle back in with 2 runners on now. First pitch to Lamanna, he missed outside. Throw down to second base, and that is safe. They called him safe. Ted Burton thought that they got him. And Jack Ziska got a little too far off the plate at second. And Eric Bakich is going to ask them to come together for this call. So here is home plate umpire Grady Smith, Jeffrey Spiesiak, and Perry Costello, and they are going to go to further review. My first initial look at it, I thought that they got Ziska on the back pick on a beautiful throw by Jimmy Obertop. Ted Burton, currently out behind the pitcher's mound right now, is saying, yeah, I got that tag in time. A few of the umpires will go over and have a check at this one. This is an odd situation, too, for this umpiring crew, because instead of 4, they have 3 today. There is no second base umpire. And I believe the third base umpire, Perry Costello, who was an umpire for all 3 games of the Cal State Fullerton series, made that call from the third base side. 0-0 ball game. The pitch to the catcher, Lamanna, was a ball. And Jimmy Obertop tried to back pick down to second base. I believe it was a second baseman, Ted Burton, that put down the tag. And Jack Ziska was called safe. And I'll tell you what, he was at least a fourth of the way down the baseline, maybe even closer to 2/5, a half of the way down. Now, what once was a 70-degree day with barely any clouds in the sky has now turned a bit chilly, and after review, it is safe at second base. And although very cloudy now, temperatures only dipped 2 degrees down to 68. Still 2 outs in the inning. That would have ended the inning if Burton and Obertop would have connected on the tag just a moment earlier. So Ziska remains at second, Coetzee over at first, and it's a 1-0 count to the catcher, David Lamanna. Pitch from Cleveland in the dirt, eaten up by Jimmy Obertop behind the dish. Full turf field there in South Bend. Really won't see your jersey getting very dirty here. 2 balls, no strikes. Here is the delivery to Lamanna. And Cleveland will step off the mound. Ten consecutive balls thrown by Walker Cleveland, and he digs back into the first base side of the rubber. The 2-0. That squeaks through Obertop's legs, and it was kicked away by Grady Smith, the umpire. And that's ball number 3 in a row, and luckily for the umpire being there, the runners will not advance over to second and third base. Walker Cleveland in trouble, throwing 11 straight balls now. Comes set at the belt. High leg kick delivery. Breaking ball missed outside. Bit of mind games being played now with Walker Cleveland as the bases are loaded on back-to-back-to-back walks. Here is Zach Prajner, the Irish shortstop. Prajner on the season, .238 average. That's 182 with runners in scoring position. And this is his first appearance on the season with the bases loaded. And there's ball 1. Cleveland gets it back and will work quickly in the 1-0. And he missed badly outside. That was nowhere close to the strike zone. 2-0 now to Prajner. Cleveland comes set, delivers the 2-0. That one misses outside. 15 consecutive balls thrown. Now 3-0. Notre Dame a chance to take the lead on 4 consecutive walks. Haven't had to swing the bat. Here's a 3-0. That misses nowhere close. Way high and outside. Over top. Stops it behind the dish. Ziska comes in to score. Notre Dame has the first lead of the afternoon. RBI walk for Zach Prajner.
Number 2, Spencer Myers.
And Jimmy Obertop will now take the chance to have a chat with Walker Cleveland as the leadoff man Spencer Myers comes to the plate. And this is an extremely veteran lineup for Notre Dame. 8 seniors, just 1 junior. And they started a freshman on the mound. The union between Obertop and Cleveland about to be broken up by Grady Smith. Back to home plate goes Jimmy Obertop. Very slowly Grady Smith jogs past him. We are ready for the first pitch to Spencer Myers. And after the reunion between Obertop and Cleveland, Eric Bakich, he'll make his way out to the mound, and there should be a pitching change coming for the Wolverines. And indeed, here comes the new arm. We'll take a break with Notre Dame leading 1-0, but with no hits on the game and 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. We welcome you back into South Bend, Indiana, the campus of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Score is 1-0 in favor of the Irish after 16 consecutive balls thrown by Walker Cleveland. We have a new pitcher on the mound for the Wolverines, and it is righty Willie Weiss, a 6.89 ERA, an 0-2 record, 15 2/3 innings pitched, 13 hits, 15 earned runs. He's walked 13, struck out 16, and he's accumulated 2 saves over the season so far as well. Here is Spencer Myers. Notre Dame has had 4 consecutive batters walk. Here's the first pitch from Willie Weiss, and there is the first strike in 17 pitches for the Wolverines as it's floated back to the screen off the bat of Myers. Weiss, the 6'3", 225-pound senior from Portland, Oregon. Comes set, the hard-throwing righty delivers. There is ball number 1. Just below the strike zone, Obertop did not have to leave his crouch for it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Been a long first 2 innings between these two. Weiss delivers ball number 2, fastball outside. Weiss has that zipping fastball that's around 93, 94 miles an hour. I mean, why not just try and pound it in there against Myers with the bases loaded? And there it is, but he missed with it. Just outside, ball number 3. 19 of the last 20 pitches thrown by the Wolverines have been balls. The 3-1 from Weiss. That one's lifted in the left. A big cut. Back goes Rogers. Track wall, and that's a grand slam past the berm. Irish lead 5-0. 5-0 lead on the bases loaded grand slam by Spencer Myers. His first home run of the season when he throws as hard as Willie Weiss does. Maybe all you got to do sometimes as a hitter is just poke it with the barrel. Here's Jack Brannigan, and a line drive back to the screen, foul. Weiss working quickly now with 1 strike against Brannigan. Throws inside for ball number 1. Weiss with his glove at the hip comes set at the letters and delivers. Foul ball down the left field line. Nice play by the third base coach. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Third baseman Jack Brannigan, who grounded out to the second baseman in his first at-bat just an inning ago. Wolverines have left 6 men on. The Irish, they convert in their first bases loaded opportunity. There's a foul ball back to the Notre Dame dugout. Let's do it again. Add 1 and 2. Coatsy, Lamanna, and Prajner all come in to score on the grand slam. Only one of those runs tabbed to Willie Weiss. It's a 5-0 lead. There's ball number 2. Count is now even at 2 and 2. Both of the balls in this AB have missed inside. And that home run was a fastball that was pitched outside to the lefty Myers. He poked it opposite field. This one's fouled back to Obertop. And it'll be 2 and 2. Third home run of the season allowed by Willie Weiss. And that ball just seemed to have some odd kind of carry on it that went well past Rogers and into the berm. There's a line drive left side, foul. Ricochets into left. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the second inning. Notre Dame has a 5-0 lead. And swings like that are exactly why they are the 4th ranked team in the country and at 20-5 in the record on the year. The fastball bounces a couple feet in front of the plate to Obertop. An ugly fastball from Weiss. Count is now full, and the Wolverines, they just cannot seem to get out of this inning. Back-to-back flyouts by the cleanup man Putz and Cole. Wolverines have not been able to get an out since. And there is ball number 4. Weiss misses just low and inside. Fifth walk of the inning for the Irish. And this is the only man to have not batted so far in the inning. Jared Miller, the second baseman, grounded out to the shortstop, Riley Bertram, in his first time up. If we remember earlier in this inning, with 2 outs and 2 men on, Jimmy Obertop tried to backpick Jack Ziska at second base as he got well off the bag. Was called safe, went under review, and was still called safe on a really close play. Pitch number 1 to Miller, in there for a strike at the knees. Takes an extra moment, relaxes himself, and settles in for the 0-1. Drags the stick across the plate, swings the bat towards Weiss. Wiggles the bat a couple times as Weiss delivers the 0-1. Runner goes, Obertop to fire down the second base, and safely at second goes Jack Brannigan. Stolen base number 4 on the season for Jack. And now a runner in scoring position for Jared Miller, and he bats really well, .315 with runners in scoring position. One ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch from Weiss. That one's well low and inside. Skips away from Obertop back to the Michigan dugout and home to score. Here comes Brannigan, and he is gonna have to go back to third base because apparently that ball barely skipped out of play. So a little odd here. There's the dugout And then there's an extension of the dugout here at Frank Eck Stadium where there's pretty much barriers set up just a couple of feet away from, we'll call it the grass, although it is turf. And then there is a dirt portion that is also turf, but it bounced into that section of Michigan's dugout, and that's only a one-bag steal then, a wild pitch as Brannigan advances over. So a bit of luck in the hand of the Wolverines, and there was a strike to Jared Miller. The count is now at 2-2, and Weiss delivers the 2-2. Check to swing, and he did not go, according to third base umpire Perry Costello. Count is now at 3-2. Willie Weiss against Jared Miller. 5 runs scored in the inning, an extra runner now at third base. The 3-2 from Weiss. Swung on and missed. A nightmare of an inning for the Wolverines is finally over. The Irish, they bat almost all the way around as the leadoff man of that inning, Carter Putz, was in the on-deck circle. It's a 5-0 lead, and we'll get back to you with a recap here in the third inning when we come back on WCBN Ann Arbor.
Michigan 0.
5 runs in the bottom of the second inning for Notre Dame. And they got all of them the easy way. They walked 5 times in the inning. One of them ended up being stranded. Walker Cleveland threw 16 consecutive balls. And Willie Weiss entered. And the first batter he saw took him yard for a grand slam, Spencer Myers. And that's how we get to this 5-0 deficit here at the top of the third inning. Jackson Denny's back to work. He faces off against a cleanup man, that is, for the Wolverines, Jimmy Overtop. And he looks at strike number 1. Jimmy popped out in the first inning. The Wolverines, they have loaded the bases in both of their innings at the plate. And there is ball number 1 on a slider outside. Loaded the bases with no outs in the first. Stranded all 3 on back-to-back pop-outs. And a strong shot to center by Riley Bertram. 1-1 to Overtop as a ground ball towards the third baseman, Brannigan. Sidearm sling over to first base, and there is 1 gone in the inning. And then in the second inning, Fry led off with a single. Vandermortel struck out. Rogers walked. A fly out by Elliott to left field. Joe Stort singled, and that loaded the bases. It was an infield single. And then Ted Burton grounded out to the third baseman in a really close play over at first base. Here's Tito Flores. Tito also batted in that first inning, popped out to the catcher, first pitch swinging. He lays off on this first pitch, 1-0, a breaking ball low and away. Offset until he comes set is Jackson Denny's, and then he's even. Loads up, delivers ball number 2. Another breaking ball. That one looked like more of a changeup from Denny's. Don't have the luxury of Ray Fisher Stadium's scoreboard with the exit velocity and fastball, or we'll just say pitch velocity for the pitcher. There's a line shot in the left center. That sends Cole all the way back to the track, and he makes a running grab right before the shamrock in center. Nice cut, though, by Tito as he is cut off, and 2 gone here in the 3rd inning.
Shortstop, number 12.
Here's Riley Bertram. He'll bat from the left side now after getting a right-handed AB in the 1st. If that ball would have just gotten down for Bertram and not stayed up in the air so long, all 3 runs almost certainly would have come home to score. There's ball number 1 on a fastball in the dirt. Nice pick up by Lamanna, but with no one on, not a threat. One ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch to Bertram. He fouls it away off the catcher. If you're Michigan, you've got to capitalize with runners in scoring position. They've already left 6 on base through 2 innings. But they have got to capitalize. Notre Dame is not a team that makes mistakes. The 2nd best fielding percentage in the whole country, only 12 errors across 26 games played. Their strike number 2, swinging and missing, is Bertram. Nice breaking ball from Denny's. The right-handers ahead, 1 and 2 to Bertram. Comes set at the belt. Scrunched delivery, and that one bounces into Bertram and back to the catcher, Lamanna. Bertram, a relatively slow series against Fullerton. He went 2 for 12, 2 RBIs, a double and a walk. Good contact in his first AB today. Here's a 2-2. That one's low and inside. Full count now. Outfield playing pretty straight up. Third baseman Brannigan a bit away from the third base line. The first baseman Putz. He is right along that line. The second baseman Miller over towards the right. And there is a shot into center field. Myers is sent running back to the track in the wall, and it bounces off the wall. Bertram will glide into second base, and there is the 5th hit of the afternoon for the Wolverines. Second double in as many series now for Riley Bertram.
Third baseman, number 24.
And here is Matt Fry, who is 1 for 1 today with an infield single. That infield single for Fry was just a really odd play where it was a short bouncer towards the right side. The second baseman Miller had to make a glove flip over to first, but it wasn't in time. Just squeezed by the starting pitcher Finley. And there is ball number 1. As the left-hander was missing low and in to right-handed pitchers, or excuse me, right-handed bats. And now the right-hander is missing low and in to the left-handed bats. Here comes Coach Jarrett Link. So far, no taking the baseball yet. The final line, once again on Jack Finley, was 1 2/3 inning pitched, 3 hits, 0 runs. He walked 2 and struck out 1. Nothing is the lead for Notre Dame. They're going to keep Jackson Denny's in this game. I would expect to see plenty of arms from Notre Dame today unless they got a superb performance from one of the relievers. Thought maybe it'd be a little bit longer for Jack Finley, although. Denny's has only gone as deep as 2 innings in a ball game. The last time was against Butler last week. Exactly a week from today. There's ball number 2 now to Matt Fry. He digs in and will stay in that left-handed batter's box for the 2-0. Taps the bat on the plate twice, once by his right foot. In a relaxed stance now, and now tightens up before the 2-0. High, towering pop-up. Center fielder Myers comes on, calls off the shortstop Preigner, and makes the catch for the 3rd out in the top of the 3rd inning. Michigan still scoreless. they'll have to keep Notre Dame the same way. In the bottom half of the third inning, Irish lead at 5-0, heading to the bottom of the third here in South Bend on WCBN Sports Radio.
It's Notre Dame 5, Michigan 0.
Michigan now stranded 7 in this ball game in the first third of the game, and they turn to a new arm. The third arm in as many innings for Michigan as Jake Keyser takes the hill for Michigan. The freshman from Rochester attended Orchard Lake St. Mary's High School. On the season, a 7.36 ERA, no record, 7 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 8 walks, 8 Ks, and a couple of extra base hits for opposing batters. He'll face off against 4, 5, and 6 for the Irish, Putz, Cole, and Ziska.
Junior Irish announcer will be calling the Irish at-bats here in the bottom of the third. Fifth grader Aiden.
5 runs in the bottom of the second inning. And a lot of those came due to walks. Wolverine Arms walked 5 different Irish batters in the second inning. Then a grand slam by Spencer Myers drove in runs 2 through 5. Here is Carter Putz. He flew out to begin the second inning. We're now in the bottom of the third. And Keyser delivers a breaking ball for strike 1 that is swung and missed. And Putz, I'm sure, wants that one back. A hanging breaking ball that Keyser, I'm sure he would like back too, but it fell in there for a strike. And here's another breaking ball that hits the outside part of the strike zone. And Putz is behind 0-2. One of the highest batting averages in collegiate baseball at 375. Here's a bouncing ball towards the left side of the infield for Bertram. Throw over to first base, skips under the glove of Vander Mortel. And safe at first base is Carter Putz. And they will mark that as a hit. That's just the second hit for the Irish in this ball game, and yet they lead the game 5-0. It looked like Putz was going to get there in time regardless, but a low throw from the shortstop Bertram on a really tough bouncing ball. And now here is Cole. He sees a breaking ball for strike number 1. That just stunned him at the knees. Here is the 0-1 from Keyser, who comes set at the belt. Another breaking ball that misses low and outside. Teammates with another Orchard Lake St. Mary's product, Logan Wood. Haven't seen him now in a while. Started a game 2 weeks ago against Oakland. Not a great performance from Logan. Looking forward to the next time he'll be back on the hill. Here's the 1-1 from Keyser, and that's fouled off the mask of Obertop and back to the screen. One ball and 2 strikes. To the 5-hole hitter Ryan Cole, the Irish left fielder. He flew out to right field into the mid of Clark Elliott. The 1-2 is a bouncing ball right side. That'll get through the gap. And that one will go back to Elliott. And this one's for a base hit. Runners now on first and second base for Jack Ziska, who got things started in the second inning with a walk. All 5 Irish runs came with 2 outs in the bottom of that second inning. The lights are on now at Jack Klein Field. The breaking ball to Ziska misses above the strike zone. We don't want to call it the curse of the bottom 4 in the lineup, but 16 consecutive balls were thrown to the bottom 4. Ziska, Coetzee, Lamanna, and Preidner. There's the pitch to Ziska. And there's a fastball that was a beautifully located pitch right at the knees. No chance for Ziska. If he's going to put that anywhere, it's straight into the ground, or he's got to go golfing for it. Decided to lay off 1-1. Still the shining gold helmets for the Irish batters as the lights have been flickered on here. Here's the 1-1. Fastball misses outside. First 2 batters for Keyser saw a steady diet of breaking balls, and now 2 fastballs in the AB in a row for Ziska. Two balls, 1 strike. There's the pitch. Breaking ball that just floats in there for a strike. It came straight through the front door, and Ziska, he just stared at it. 2-2 now. Keyser works middle of the rubber, stares in square at the plate, then looks in sideways, steps off, and stares at the runner over at second base. Shoulder square to the plate as he steps back on the rubber. Glove cupping his left knee. Comes set at the belt. High leg kick delivery. Breaking ball misses outside. Full count now. Irish threatening to load the bases again. Much like Michigan did in the first 2 innings, but came up empty-handed. The Irish, being out hit by Michigan by 2 hits, have a 5-0 lead here in South Bend. The 3-2 from Keyser. Strike 3, he got him looking, and Ziska knew it immediately. A fastball that went right across the plate. That's a wonderfully placed pitch. And that's strikeout number 2 for Wolverine pitching. And the first for Keyser.
Right fielder, number 42, Brooks Coates.
Here is Brooks Coetzee with 1 out in the inning. Irish looking to add to their 5-0 lead. Fastball from Keyser misses about half a ball's width below the strike zone. Good pitch. That's one that he's got to make Coetzee certainly think about. The Irish left fielder wears number 42. Michigan's defense plays pretty straight up. Matt Fry playing closer to the grass, now backs away. And the breaking ball misses well up high and maybe crossed up as Obertop. The Wolverine catcher will go and have a conversation with his young freshman arm. Coetzee was another Irish batter that got a 4-pitch walk.
We are
I mentioned a good crowd on hand with the Irishman mascot getting everyone to get pumped up here on a Tuesday afternoon. Keezer's 2-0. That one is fouled back to Obertop, and he goes down to both knees for a moment. Home plate umpire Grady Smith will give Jimmy an extra second as Keezer will grab a new pearl out of the pocket. Smith will come and check on Obertop at home plate. Coltsy checks his wristband on his left wrist, steps into the batter's box. The big Irish righty to wait on Keezer's 2-1. Breaking ball into right field. That sends Elliott back to the track. He makes the catch. And a basket catch at that, and trying to take third base is Putz, and the throw from Bertram. There will not be a throw from Bertram. Nice catch by Elliott, with now 2 gone in the inning. And snagging third base is Carter Putz, so advancing the runner is Coetzee, but now 2 outs for Keezer against David Lamanna. Keezer looking long into the Wolverine dugout for perhaps a new sign. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Matt Fry will now charge. Runner takes second base, and Obertop will throw quickly back to Keezer to try and trick the runner over at 3rd. Carter Putz. Ryan Cole has stolen a bag. Now 11 for 11 on the year, and that was a 3-1, as really no contest from Obertop and the Wolverines. The 1-0 fouled back to the screen. Count is now evened up at 1-1. One ball and 1 strike to the Irish catcher David Lamanna. Runners at second and third base. Breaking ball left side. Here we go for Fry. He will fake tag the runner and throw a laser over to first base, and that will end the Irish threat. Runner stranded on second and third base. No added runs for the Irish here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, as all of their runs came in the 2nd. 5-0 Notre Dame. We head to the 4th here on WCBN Sports Radio. We welcome you into the top of the 4th inning here in South Bend, Indiana. The score is 5-0 in favor of the Irish, and all 4 of those 5 runs came on a grand slam by the Irish leadoff man Spencer Myers in the 2nd inning off Michigan reliever Willie Weiss. After the bases were loaded, all on walk, 16 consecutive balls thrown by the starter today, Walker Cleveland. 8, 9, and 1 for the Wolverines. Vanner Mortal, Rogers, and Elliott. for the maize and blue. They face off against Jackson Denny's, and Vandermortel was hit by the pitch, a fastball that got him somewhere close to the forearm. And looks like he's fine. Vandermortel will take a quick jog down to first base.
Left fielder, number 18, Jordan Rogers.
First time he's been hit by the pitch this season now. Here's Jordan Rogers. He gave the Wolverines a really nice at-bat in the second inning. Mentioned a couple times now, Wolverines left 6 on base in the first 2 innings. That's the most that you could possibly leave on as Rogers swings and misses at a fastball from Denny's. Left the bases loaded in the first 2 innings, got 0 runs. Face a 5-0 deficit in South Bend. This ball is popped up right side. Playable for the right fielder, Coetzee, and the first baseman, Putz, calls him off and makes the catch at the Gothic lettering writing Fighting Irish in foul territory down the right field line, 1 gone.
Right fielder, number 15.
Here's Clark Elliott. Infield single in the first inning. Advanced all the way over to third before being stranded, and then flew out first pitch swinging in the second inning, flew out to left. Put a good swing on it, but Cole had plenty of room to put him away. Offset stance for Clark, swinging the bat in circles, and now comes set as Denny's delivers for ball 1. It's a short little step for Elliott when he's offset in his stance. In the left-handed batter's box, the left toe is right at about the stripe. Here's the pitch from Denny's. It's popped down the left field line and foul. But the right toe was right off the heel of the left foot. And then once the pitcher delivers, he comes pretty even to cover almost the whole plate. The lefty likes to go opposite field. Swings the bat once, now twice at Denny's. Denny's delivers. Breaking ball for a strike. Beautiful pitch. Elliott's average, a team-leading 341. Truly only rivaled by Joe Stewart at 321. Here's the 1-2. And that one is a foul ball. Hit in fair play, then hit Elliott. We'll stick around at 1-2 now. And I really like the way that Jack Klein Field at Frank Eck Stadium here is placed within the athletic complex of Notre Dame. The 1-2 to Elliott. That's low inside. Nice scoop up by LaManna behind the dish, 2-2. Mentioned Notre Dame's football stadium, way in foul left. Their football facility is straight down the left field line, but right in front of that is the soccer and the cross fields. Dormitories in center field. Beautiful buildings here on campus. Here's the 2-2. Line drive right side. That's foul, or excuse me, fair ball. As around second goes Vandermortel. Clark Elliott will head into second base, and Vandermortel, he will be held up at third. So runners now on second and third base for the Wolverines for Joe Stewart. Clark Elliott's first hit, excuse me, now his second, as he did get an infield hit, but his first extra base hit, that is, in the last 2 series now for Michigan. Had no extra base hits along the weekend against Fullerton. Now here's Joe Stewart, who also reached on an infield base hit in the first inning. Pretty much any contact should score Vandermortel. Pitch from Denny's. Swung on and missed. Man, that is a breaking ball that went right past the bat of Joe Stewart. Stewart took his eye off that one for sure, as he was glaring into left for strike number 1. Denny still working that first base side of the rubber, comes set at the belt and delivers, checked his swing, and Stewart did go around. For strike number 2. Perhaps there's a mix-up between the scoreboard and the umpire. The umpire says it's 0-2, and the scoreboard says 1-1. So no balls, 2 strikes to Joe Stewart. And even from my position, a little crooked behind home plate toward the right side. It looked like Stewart had gone all the way around. Now they correct it to 0-2. So here's the 0-2 pitch to Stewart. Low and outside, Vander Mortal will take home, and this will be a free run for the Wolverines as Michigan's on the board for the first time here in South Bend. A wild pitch scores Jack Vander Mortal. It's now 5-1 Notre Dame. Wolverines still have a runner on board in Clark Elliott over at third. One ball, 2 strikes to Joe Stewart. Denny's delivers a breaking ball foul down the left field line. Five runs scored in the second inning is the difference in this game as Michigan just picked up their first 4-run deficit for the Wolverines as Denny's comes set. Gets himself settled, and there is a line drive into center. It drops right in front of the center fielder Myers. It's a 5-2 lead now for Notre Dame as Michigan cuts further into the deficit. RBI number 20 on the season for Joe Stewart. And I'm sure this coming weekend will be both a lot of fun and perhaps quite emotional for Joe as he'll be returning to East Lansing. First to play at the Lugnut Stadium on Friday night against Michigan State, and then they'll play Saturday and Sunday at McLean Stadium in Lansing as well. Denny's will depart as Link Jarrett comes out to bring in a new relief arm for the Irish. It's a 5-2 lead for Notre Dame here in South Bend. We'll be right back on WCBN Sports Radio. Pitching change for Notre Dame as they go to a new southpaw. A 6-foot, 165-pound lefty from Joliet, Illinois, the senior and team captain, Aiden Tyrell, wears number 17. And he'll face off against the Wolverines' 3-hole hitter, Ted Burton, with a runner over at first base. The Irish have a 5-2 lead over Michigan. First pitch from Tyrell. Misses high and outside with the fastball. Numbers on the season, 4-0 record, 27 1/3 innings pitched, allowed 28 hits, 10 earned runs, 5 walks, struck out 23. A couple of extra base hits on the year, a whip of 1-2-2. And this one's lifted into right. Very shallow as the first baseman putts, reaches back, makes the grab. And that should be the second out. It is. Miller and Putz, the first and second basemen, almost ran into each other. 2 pitches in and out for Tyrell against Wolverine bats. Here's Jimmy Overtop with 2 outs now. Big swing and a miss. A 180 straight arm swing from Jimmy Overtop. And he's behind 0-1 to Tyrell, who's crouched. Glove away from the body, delivers the 0-1, and it misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. The runner over at first base is Joe Stewart. He's brought the Wolverines within 3 runs now of Notre Dame. 5-2 is the Irish lead. There's a foul ball down the right field line and foul. One ball and 2 strikes. Overtop today. A pop out and a ground out. Really looking to get a hold of his swing, and when he gets a hold of one, man, is it a thing of beauty. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, missed. Overtop will make his way down to first base, though. That's a drop third strike, and he will be safe at first base. Joe Stewart will go from second and now to third. And that is a tough drop third strike for Tyrell. And now here comes Tito Flores. And it just skipped away from Lamana.
Tito Flores.
So Overtop, he'll be at first. Joe Stewart over at third. Flores popped out first pitch swinging in the first and then flew out to left field. And he looks at ball number 1 below the strike zone. So we're about an hour and a half into this one. Michigan has put up 2 runs in this inning. 1 swing of the bat from Tito Flores could tie things up. He had a 3-run shot on Sunday to give them the lead against the Titans of Cal State Fullerton. And he fouls one back towards the ND dugout. Tyrell looking to get the 2nd out of this inning and get the Wolverines off the base paths. They have 2 runners on now. They've already stranded 7. Ground ball foul. Back towards the Notre Dame dugout once again. 1 ball and 2 strikes now, and if it wasn't for just 1 performance on the year for Tyrell, the tough performance was at Louisville back on March 18th. Through 1 inning, he allowed 4 hits, 5 earned runs, allowed a home run, walked 1. This one's popped up down the right field side, and that is very playable for the first baseman Putz. He makes the grab, and he makes all 3 plays, all on pop-outs this inning. Michigan unfortunately strands 2 again, but they do pick up 2 in this inning. It's a 5-2 lead for Notre Dame as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning here in South Bend on WCBN Sports Radio.
3.5 innings complete. It's now Notre Dame 5. Number 14, Zach Preisner.
2 runs on 2 hits for the Wolverines as they cut into the Notre Dame lead. It's now 5-2 Irish as Jake Keyser is back out to the hill for Michigan. Here's Zach Preisner. Looks at ball number 1 inside. He had to scoot out of the way of the pitch from Jake Keyser. The second pitch is a breaking ball that misses low and away. Pretty 50-50 between Keyser's fastball and breaking ball so far. Began his first 2 batters with breaking balls and has pretty steadily gone back to the fastball as he misses outside. 3 balls and no strikes now. Third arm used for Eric Bakich and the Wolverines. There is ball number 4, 4 consecutive balls, and Preisner has walked for the second consecutive AB. He's seen 8 pitches today, all of them balls. First walk for Jake Keyser.
Center fielder number 2, Spencer Myers.
Here's Spencer Myers. He has the biggest swing of the game so far. The grand slam to left. Went opposite field, the lefty got a hold of a fastball, the first batter that Willie Weiss saw out of the bullpen for Michigan. First pitch from Keyser, he squares to bunt, called strike. Myers tried to pull back on that bunt, still squeezed right by him. Oh, 0-1, here's the pitch to Myers from Keyser. Breaking ball, back door. Not called for a strike. It was a bit close, but Overtop called for that one inside. And he had to scoot outside. Not a good look then for Grady Smith, the umpire. Keyser's 1-1, set at the belt. Leg kick and delivery, outside. 2-1. The Irish entered today's game at 20-5, 8-4 in the ACC. 3 of those losses came to a common opponent with Michigan. Grady Smith looked like he started to call strike, but then pulled back as he realized that was a bit outside. 3 balls and 1 strike now to the leadoff man, Myers. 3 of those losses for Notre Dame and the 4 of the ACC came against Louisville. Michigan went 1-1 when they visited the Cardinals. Count is now full after a foul ball flies out of play. In all 3 of those games against the Cardinals for the Irish, not particularly close. Runner goes on the 3-2, a little slapper foul down the left field line, out of play. And we'll do the 3-2 again. The Irish took care of Clemson relatively with ease, 4-1, 8-1, then 9-3. Before that, played a non-conference with Indiana rival Butler. Runner goes, popped up left side. That is a long run for Jordan Rogers, but he will make the catch in shallow left. And now there is 1 gone. As the runner, Preisner, will return back to first base. And Myers is retired. Here comes Jack Brannigan.
Number 9, Jack Brannigan.
Brannigan so far today, a ground out and a walk. His first 2 ABs came in the first and second inning. Everyone batted in the second for the Irish, the 5-run second. First pitch from Keyser to Brannigan. Fastball that misses upstairs. The clouds covering the sky makes it look as if rain is in the area. Nothing in the forecast, though, in South Bend. Keyser comes set, ready to deliver the 1-0. There's a line drive in the left for a base hit. Just the 4th hit of the afternoon for Notre Dame, yet they have 5 runs. So Preisner over to second base. The first hit of the game for Jack Brannigan.
Jared Miller.
Here comes Jared Miller now. The big lefty struck out in his last at-bat. He batted from the right side his last time up. One out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Michigan put up a 2-spot. Notre Dame has 2 runners on of their own. First pitch from Keyser, a breaking ball in there for a strike right at the knees. Beautiful pitch by the Wolverines, number 25. Michigan in their traditional road uniforms, the cream pants with the blue jerseys, with the maize script across the chest, the black M on both the hat and the left sleeve. And there's strike number 2, beautiful fastball that paints the black on the outside. Keyser ahead 0-2 to the Irish second baseman and 3-batter today, Jared Miller. Keyser will step off quickly and resettle in for the 0-2. Keyser settles, delivers. Almost got Miller to bite, but he lays off the cheese upstairs. Miller has a wide stance and now shortens up as he gets set. Keyser delivers a fastball, swung on and missed. And there is strikeout number 2 for Keyser. And the second time that Jared Miller has been retired by strikeout this afternoon.
First baseman number 4, Carter Putz.
Here is Putz. He singled to get the third let off. Got stranded over at third base. First pitch from Keyser misses inside. An odd exchange with Overtop as Keyser takes a couple of extra steps towards his catcher and now will retreat back to the hill. Jimmy will now step in front of the plate, deliver a signal to his infield. And now here's Keyser with the 1-0. That one just misses outside. That's a nice pitch, though, from Keyser. Certainly a pitch that he has to make Putz think about. Two 2-0. Keyser from the middle of the rubber delivers. Little check swing foul down the right field line, and Putz frustrated with himself for not swinging fully. That would have been an opposite field shot if he swung fully at it. Wolverine left fielder Jordan Rogers playing relatively far back, right in the middle of the Shamrock in middle. In the middle of the Shamrock in center is the center fielder Stewart, and he will not be able to make the play on the line drive as in to score comes a man from second, Kreidner, and it is a 6-2 lead for Notre Dame. RBI single for Carter Putz. Kreidner scores from second, and over to third goes Jack Brannigan.
Ryan Cole.
And now here is Ryan Cole, the Irish left fielder, batting for the third inning in a row now. RBI number 28 on the year for Putz. Made a short mention of it earlier. This is a very veteran lineup for Notre Dame. 8 seniors, just 1 junior. The junior is currently on third base, and Jack Brannigan. Here's the first pitch to Cole. It's up and in and hits him. Base is now loaded. Mostly today, the Wolverines have just not had control of especially the fastball. Walker Cleveland had no control almost at all in the second inning. And it was odd because Cleveland got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then walked 4 consecutive batters. Here comes Steve Merriman. The base is loaded. He'll have to have a chat with his pitcher. Here's Jack Ziska. He walked and he is struck out in this game. Notre Dame, they have batted around a couple of times now. All the way up to their 5th batter, Ryan Cole, has already had 3 at-bats, and we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Wolverines scratched back with 2 in the top of the 4th, but now in the bottom of the 4th inning, the Irish have one of their own. It's a 6-2 lead for Notre Dame. A good crowd as the time here nears 7:15. Union between Merriman and the infield is broken up, and Keyser, the freshman for Michigan, will have to settle in to face off against Jack Ziska. Keyser from the belt. That light blue glove delivers home, and a fastball inside as a choke job. And Ziska fouled it down the left field line. Oh, 1, 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th. Score is 6-2 Notre Dame. Bases loaded. Jake Keyser on the mound facing off against Jack Ziska. He comes home with the 0-1. Up and in, hit him. Back-to-back batters now being hit, and that is another Notre Dame run, 7-2. Putts to third, Cole to second, and Ziska over to first as that is an RBI hit by pitch for Ziska. RBI number 9 on his senior season. Here comes Eric Bakich, and he will be pulling Jake Keyser out of this ball game. Michigan's 3-game win streak on the line as a new arm will be entering, and Jake Keyser will be departing for the Wolverines. We'll be right back from WCBN Sports Radio. The Irish a 7-2 lead over Michigan here in South Bend. Michigan has a new arm in the game. It's the right-hander Avery Goldensoff, although he is wearing Cameron Weston's number 55. Well, perhaps either something's wrong with the typical number 14 for Goldensoff, or Cameron Weston simply just did not make the trip to Notre Dame due to his starting responsibilities across the weekend. Well, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Notre Dame scratched back 2 after Michigan got 2 of their own. First pitch from Goldensoft is a line drive right field. That'll score 1 run. Here comes a second. The throw to home plate from Elliott is not in time. And the throw down to second base will now get the runner in a rundown, and Coates is tagged. However, 2 runs do score in that exchange. And Notre Dame has now taken a 9-2 lead over Michigan in the bottom of the 4th. We'll head to the top of the 5th inning after a 4-run inning for the Irish here on WCBN Sports Radio. Four runs picked up for the Irish in the bottom of the 4th inning. Score is now 9-2 in favor of Notre Dame.
Leading off for the Wolverines,
It was
shortstop
a good inning. The Irish that led off with a walk and a fly out, a single and a strikeout. And then single, hit by pitch, and another single that ended up in a rundown that caught Coates, but Riley Bertram to lead off the 5th. Lines one in the left field, but that is right into the glove of Cole out in left, and Bertram is retired on a line drive to left field. He's gotten a hold of 3 different pitches from 3 different pitchers. He's gotten Finley, Denny's, and Tyrell. He lined out to center, doubled, and now has lined out to left. Here's Matt Fry, who is 1 for 2 today with a single and a flyout. He sees a fastball at the knees called for a strike. Fry with that bending stance, tight grip of the bat, looks at strike number 2 on the outside corner. 5 runs in the 2nd, 4 in the 4th for Notre Dame, 2 in the 4th for Michigan. Swung on and missed. Down on strikes goes Matt Fry. And just a second strikeout for Notre Dame pitching, and there is 2 very quick outs for Aiden Tyrell and the Irish. Here is Vander Mortel. He's one of the 2 runs the Wolverines have scored so far. He was hit by the pitch to lead off the 4th. First pitch from Tyrell misses just outside. Bottom of the 4th, 4 runs on 3 hits. No errors, 1 left on base for Notre Dame. Michigan still out hitting the Irish 7-6 with the score a little lopsided, 9-2. Vander Mortel up the middle, and that is towards the second baseman Miller. Easy throw over to first. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Aiden Tyrell and the Irish on defense. And back to the plate goes Notre Dame, looking to add some more damage to the board. 9-2 Irish. Let's head to the bottom of the 5th inning on WCBN Sports Radio. Avery Goldensoft back to the hill for Michigan. He entered for Jake Keyser in the 4th inning. And although allowing a single to Brooks Coetzee, Wolverines got him in a rundown, which ended up ending the inning. To lead things off is the catcher for Notre Dame, David LaManna. 9-2 is the lead for Notre Dame here in South Bend. Goldensoft feet really close together, slow, steady windup, very systematic. He misses a fastball above the strike zone, working from the third base side of the rubber. Right foot on that third base side, left foot more towards the center. And he misses with strike number 2 on a fastball. Here's the 2-0. Breaking ball towards the third baseman, Fry. Plays it on 2 hops, a strong throw. And before LaManna's even halfway down the base path, there is 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Back-to-back groundouts to the third baseman for LaManna. Here's Zach Preijner. Well, he's had a pretty easy day so far at the plate. And it will continue as he has seen 9 consecutive balls now. He's 0 for 0 with 2 walks. Here's the 1-0 from Goldensoft. And that misses outside. Step with the left, the right, and a leg kick from Goldensoft, and there's the first strike thrown to him today, and he goes swinging. A pop-up down the right field line. The second baseman, Burton, will make the catch right down the line in fair territory, and there is now 2 gone here in the bottom of the 5th inning for the Irish.
So those are my 3 states left to get 50 states, which is my goal.
Center fielder number 2.
Here is Spencer Myers now. He had that grand slam in the 2nd inning, which has given Notre Dame a big lift. Well, even without that, they'd still have the lead. Nonetheless, 9-2 Irish. Michigan somewhat shifting. And there's ball number 1 on a fastball to Spencer Myers. Two outs here in the 5th. The 1-0. That one's inside. Moving Myers out of the way as the hands go up to the sky. Speaking of the sky, now fully covered in a shade of blue and gray clouds with the lights on in the outfield. Wind blowing out towards left. He squares to bunt. Sees a fastball up and in. 3-0 now to Spencer Myers. Notre Dame comes in at 2nd in the ACC Atlantic, behind Louisville at 9-3. There is strike number 1 as Myers went to go flip his bat. He'll have to return to the left-handed batter's box. Goldensoft from the belt up to the letters and delivery. There is ball number 4 as now Myers can make the slow walk down to first. His day will stay at 1-3 in his 4th at-bat. Here is Jack Brannigan, who himself is 1 for 2 with a walk in the 2nd. He's got a run scored and a stolen base to go along with that stat line. Here's the first pitch to Brannigan. Breaking ball. Barely crosses the plate, and it was trapped on the ground by Jimmy Obertop. 1 ball, no strikes. Fry playing straight up at 3rd. At shortstop in the grass is Bertram. Burton playing almost behind second base as a fastball misses outside. 2-0 now to Brannigan. Outfield playing in levels as Rogers pretty darn close to the track out in left. Right in the middle of the shamrock leaf clover in center is the center fielder Stort, and Elliott playing right in the middle of right field. There's ball number 3 to Jack Brannigan. Count now at 3-0 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jimmy Obertop We'll take a moment to have a conversation with his pitcher, Avery Goldensoff. The 6'6" freshman from Saginaw attended Swan Valley High School. A 6.23 ERA, no decision on the season. Pitched in a couple of high-scoring games. He did throw an inning and 2/3 against Purdue Fort Wayne last week. Went 1 2/3, struck out 2. The only batter that reached was by hit by pitch. Here's the 3-0 in there for a strike to Brannigan, 3-1. Three balls and 1 strike to the Irish third baseman as Goldensoff comes set, working from the third base side of the rubber. Runner goes, and there is ball number 4. Back-to-back walks brings up Jared Miller. He struck out in back-to-back ABs. He is 0 for 3 and the only Irishman to not be on base today. As here comes Eric Bakich, the Wolverines are going to go to the pen now for their 5th arm of the ball game. Irish lead it 9-2 here in South Bend. We'll be right back on WCBN Sports Radio when we find out who that new arm is. New arm for Michigan is the big right-handed flamethrower, Ahmed Harajli from IMG Academy from Dearborn, Michigan, 6'4", 240 pounds. On the season for Ahmad, not much action, a 2.08 ERA though. No decision, does have a save, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run. He's walked 9, struck out 8. He's got a live fastball. Does have some control issues, but a young arm. And one that Eric Bakich down the line here at Michigan, he'll need Ahmad to provide some big innings in big games for the Wolverines in the future. Here's Jared Miller, 0 for 3 today, and he will look at strike number 1 from Ahmad. Mentioned right before we took a break that Miller is the only Fighting Irish player to not reach base today. He grounded out in the first, struck out in the second, struck out in the fourth. There is a ground ball left side. Matt Fry will throw over to first base, and that will retire the side. Good job by Harajli to come on and strand 2 Irish runners, and now 0 for 4 is Jared Miller. It's a 9-2 lead for the Irish. Let's head to the top of the 6th inning here in South Bend on WCBN Sports Radio. 9, 1, and 2 for Michigan. Rogers, Elliott, and Stewart facing a 7-run deficit here in South Bend. 9-2 is the score. Well, the difference so far, a 5-run second inning and a 4-run fourth inning for Notre Dame. Aiden Tyrell back to the hill for the Irish to face off against Rogers, and he delivers strike number 1 on the outer half. And if I told you the score was 9-2, you would not guess that Michigan was leading in hits. 7-6, breaking ball misses outside. Just been a long day with walks for Michigan. The 1-1 is low and outside, left for a ball by Rogers. He's 0 for 1 today. He popped out to the first baseman in the 4th. He walked in the 2nd and was stranded. And here's a ground ball towards the shortstop, Preisner. Delivers a throw to first and 1 gone. Well, we're well over halfway home here in South Bend. A 7-run lead for Notre Dame. So here comes Clark Elliott. He is 2 for 3 today. He led off the game with a single. Then he doubled in the 4th inning, came around to score the 2nd run for Michigan. First pitch from Tyrell misses just inside to Clark. Got his first extra base hit in over a week in his last AB. The 1-0 is a ground ball towards the right side of the infield, perfectly played in the shift for Miller. And now there is 2 gone in the 6th inning. Tyrell now retired 5 straight for Michigan. Well, 6 straight, that is, if you include the final out of the 4th inning. And Eric Bakich quickly calls timeout over by his dugout to have a conversation with the graduate transfer from Michigan State, Joe Stewart. As a reminder, Michigan will travel to Lansing on Friday. They'll face off against Michigan State at Jackson Field, the home of the High A affiliate of the now Oakland Athletics, the Lansing Lugnuts. Two outs in the 6th inning. The top half of Michigan. Joe Stewart now at the plate. He looks at ball 1 on a changeup low. Working from the furthest possible third base side of the rubber is Tyrell. He comes set, quick delivery to Stewart, and that's a called strike. 4 seasons in a Michigan State uniform, led the Spartans in extra base hits in 2021. He checked his swing. Did he go? And no, says first base umpire Jeffrey Speziak. 2 balls, 1 strike to Stewart. Delivery from Tyrell is in the dirt, 3-1. That'll be a fun weekend series. WCBN will be on the call. 3-1 in there for a strike. Full count now to Stewart. Series against an MSU team that is 9th in the Big Ten, currently a 3-4 record. They're 14-15 overall. And this one's fouled off right back at the home plate umpire, and he will take a second. Went right off the shin. They'll take an extra moment for Mr. Grady Smith. Well over 2 hours into this ball game here in the top of the 6th inning with 2 outs. Full count to Joe Stewart. The delivery fouled back to the screen. Stewart is 3 for 3 with 3 singles in this game today. And here is a bouncing ball towards the left side of the infield for Brannington, and he makes a nice throw over to first, and that gets Stewart by about a step and a half. Michigan, they will have to go back out and field the bottom of the 6th inning. Here in South Bend, the score 9-2 in favor of Notre Dame here on the campus of the Fighting Irish on WCBN Sports Radio. Ahmed Harajli back out for his first full inning of work in relief for Michigan. Carter punts to lead things off for the Irish. He's 2 for 3 today. Came around to score in the 4th inning. Michigan's gone scoreless in 5 of their 6 innings at the plate. First pitch to Putz is a foul ball down the right field line. Rajli entered in the bottom of the 5th, got a ground out. There's a weird swing and a miss from Putz, swinging a sword. And he is behind 0-2 to Ahmad. Got Jared Miller into his 0 for 4 spot. Here's the 0-2. Curveball towards the shortstop. This is Bertram. Good throw over to Vander Mortel, and one gone. 2 ground outs, 2 batters seen by Ahmad Harajli. Here is Ryan Cole.
Left fielder number 1, Ryan Cole.
First pitch to Cole is called a ball. Check down to first base for Jeff Spiziak, and he also says ball. He did not go around. Cole today, 1 for 2, hit by the pitch in the 4th inning, came around to score. In the 4-run 4th, there's ball number 2 on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball from Ahmad Harajli. The next pitch is fouled right off the helmet of Jimmy Obertop, and he has gotten hit by a foul ball now a couple of times. Poor Jimmy behind home plate. Grady Smith will allow him an extra moment. Wolverine catcher been through a lot today behind the plate. And the tap on the shoulder from the umpire Smith to Obertop, and we're ready to go for the 2-1. Swung on and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Ryan Cole, the Irish left fielder. Harajli's 2-2. Just misses outside. That's a good pitch, though, from Ahmad. I'll tell you, that pitch just missed outside. 9-2 Irish lead. Here's the 3-2 pitch from Harajli to Cole. Missed outside, ball 4. Third consecutive time that Cole's been aboard for the Irish, and here comes Jack Ziska. He's been on board 2 times. Walked and hit by the pitch. There is a strikeout sandwiched in between those two appearances. That was in the third inning. Runner goes on a curveball, and Obertop had to leave his crouch. And easily safe at second base is Ryan Cole. Ziska had to head into a crouch as Obertop left his. Ziska, the senior from Berkeley Heights, New Jersey, went to Seton Hall Prep. Decided to go from New Jersey to Indiana. There's a line drive back to the screen, foul, 1-1. Started 11 games last season in his junior year. He started 6 now on his senior season. One ball, one strike to Ziska. Fastball inside, misses from Arajli. The Irish DH. A wonderful performance against Clemson on Sunday. Pinch hitting, he went 2 for 3 in that 9-3 victory over the Tigers. 2-1, line drive left side, that's fair. And into the gap it goes. All the way to the 330 mark. In to score comes Ryan Cole, and that is a double for Jack Ziska. Irish now have a 10-2 lead over Michigan here in the 6th. First RBI on the game for Ziska. And now number 10 on the season. Here is Brooks Coetzee. Swung on and fouled into the glove of Jimmy Obertop. Strike one. That was just a fastball left across the inside part of the plate. Ziska turned on it and right down the left field line, sent Rogers over to grab it. The 0-1 is a breaking ball in there for a strike. 0-2. Well done getting ahead of Coetzee. No balls and 2 strikes. There's a ground ball left side. Fry plays it on his glove side and flips over to Vander Mortel for out number 2 of the inning. Ziska stays put at second base, and here comes David Lamanna.
Catcher number 3, David Lamanna.
Lamanna 0 for 2, 2 groundouts to Matt Fry over at third base. He looks at ball number 1 on the outside part. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Almost 2/3 of the way through this ball game. 10-2 Notre Dame. There's a ball high and outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Lamanna. Here's the 2-0. Just misses low. It's a good spot, though, from Arajli. Probably a quarter or half a ball's width below the zone. Count now at 3-0. The pitch to Lamanna. In there for a strike number 1. 3-1 now. Lamanna, not much extra base hit power in that right-sided bat. Only 2 on the season, both of them doubles. He floats this one out of play down the right field line to fill up the count at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Pitch is up and in. Backing out of the way goes Lamanna. And down to first base he goes. Runners now on first and second for Notre Dame for Zach Prajner.
Shortstop number 14, Zach Preisner.
"12 walks now on the day for the Irish. Here's Prajner. He sees a fastball go up and in as Obertop had to leave his crouch. The 9-hole hitter for Notre Dame, 0 for 1. Now the 3rd consecutive inning that he's batted in. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That was a little bit closer, though, to the strike zone. Still missed up and in to Prajner. It's now 2-0 from Harajli. Michigan does have an arm getting warmed up down the right field line in the bullpen. Here is the 2-0. And that also misses inside. Rajdi's now walked 11 batters on the season, only struck out 8. ERA is bounced up by 0.5. That pitch is in there for a strike. Back-to-back batters now that Rajdi's had to go 3-0 to now 3-1. The question is, will it be like David Lamanna, where it was 3-2? Here is the 3-1. That is a pop-up down the right field line, but playable for the Wolverines as Burton makes his way into right field, makes the catch, and that will end the Irish threat here in the 6th inning. Notre Dame takes a 10-2 lead into the top of the 7th inning here in South Bend. We'll be right back on WCBN Sports Radio. Well, I'll tell you what, Link Jarrett likes to dip his toe into New Jersey as a new righty is on the hill for Notre Dame. This is Leon Simon, right-hander, 6'4", 220 pounds, the junior from Freehold, New Jersey. And here are his stats on the season. 7 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 5 earned runs. He's walked 8, struck out 11, allowed 1 homer on the year, a 6.14 ERA, and here's a get-right game for him. As Michigan, they face an 8-run deficit here in the top of the 7th inning. 3 outs away from stretching in South Bend. Both teams have 7 hits, yet Notre Dame leads by 8 runs thanks to 12 walks, 2 hit by pitch.
Leading off for the Wolverines in the top of the 7th inning, the second baseman, number 3.
5 consecutive walks thrown. In the 2nd inning, Willie Weiss comes in to replace Walker Cleveland, who walked all 5, and then a grand slam. Put the Wolverines behind early after Michigan left the bases loaded in the first 2 innings. As here is Ted Burton looking at ball 1, and back to work goes Simon with a ground ball towards the right side. The second baseman Miller plays it in his chest, a low throw to first, and there's out number 1. Made a slight mention of it earlier in this ball game. Notre Dame's defense does not make many mistakes. Just 13 errors on the season now. They've played 25 games. This is their 26th. Here's Jimmy Obertop. Looks at ball 1 outside. Fastball from Simon. Came into the game with just 12 errors. And the lone error in this game was a wild pitch for a drop third strike. As there is strike number 1 as Obertop lifts that one out of play.
Not as many as I have in the past. Are you?
Oh yeah, you gonna do either of the concerts?
No.
1-1 is a little bit low. You can just tell how solid this Irish team is defensively. Every throw over to first base has been pretty much on target. Swing and a miss from Obertop. Counts now at 2-2. The infield, they've allowed 3 infield singles, but all of them just tough plays. And the Irish defenders have made almost all of them very close. Here's the 2-2. Way outside, not even close. It bounced right in front of the left-handed batter's box. And that may be the easiest 2-2 take that Obertop will have in his collegiate career.
So Claire is, I would say, likely to be engaged. That's her stance.
1 out in the top of the 7th. Here's the full count pitch. Swung on and missed. Big cut from Jimmy Obertop. There is strikeout number 1 for Liam Simon.
Designated hitter number 22, Tito Flores.
Only the 3rd strikeout of the game for Irish pitching. Here's Tito Flores. They got 2 2/3 innings of really well-pitched baseball from Aiden Tyrell as Flores looks at strike 1 on the outside corner. Tyrell struck out 2. He had 1 wild pitch, and that was it. No hits allowed. Wolverines had 7 hits off starter Finley and Denny's. Here was the 0-1. And another one that just bounces in. Badly missed fastball. 1-1 now to Tito. You can see your ERA dip extremely fast when you're still low innings pitched. And you have success. Here's a line drive right side. That'll get past the diving first baseman Putz. And Tito Flores is on for the first time this afternoon. He's now 1 for 4. And here comes what I've been almost most impressed with today. Riley Bertram, although Joe Stort 3 for 4. Riley Bertram is 1 of 3, but his 2 outs were both line drives into gaps that were made and caught by Myers and Cole. First pitch to Riley goes through the legs of the catcher Lamanna, and advancing over to second goes Tito Flores. Michigan, they like the term wild pitch, especially when it goes against them when opposing teams are pitching. That's pretty much the whole reason why they won on Sunday against Cal State Fullerton. 6 wild pitches thrown by Michael Weisberg, the Titan reliever. Pretty much handed the Wolverines the win as Bertram sees a fastball slide right past the shoelaces for ball number 2. And here comes Link Jarrett to have a conversation. Liam Simon entered this inning with an ERA that was not 5'6'2". In fact, he entered with an ERA of just about 6.5. Here comes Grady Smith to break up the Union. And back to work goes Liam Simon. Michigan currently finds themselves in 6th in the Big Ten, behind Rutgers, Illinois, Maryland, Northwestern, and Iowa. Wolverines tied with Iowa, but behind them, based off of head-to-head at 3-3. This ball gets away from them as well. Bertram will be ahead 3-0, and Flores advances to third base now. The Irish have had a couple of arms up and down in the bullpen. Comes a 3-0 to Bertram. In there for a strike. Caught the outside part of the plate, and Bertram to Grady Smith has a quick word, and it also popped out of the glove of Lamanna. He might be having a bit of a hard time seeing these pitches right now from the pitcher Simon. 3-1 in there for a strike. Fills up the count at 3-2. Here's the 3-2. Inside, ball 4, and down to first base goes Riley Bertram. He's on for the second time today. Here comes Matt Fry. Fry, after going 4 of 10 in the series against Fullerton, he's 1 for 3 today. He ended up being stranded over at third base in the second inning. Pitch from Simon misses outside. One out away from stretching here in the 7th. Wolverines have runners on the corners. Trailing by 8, 10-2 was the Irish lead. Fry checked his swing but did not go. 2-0 now. Michigan still out hitting Notre Dame 8-7, yet trailing by 8 runs due to 12 walks in a variety of ways. Here's a 2-0 to Fry. In there for a strike right at the knees. Fry agrees. It's now 2-1. Two-one pitch from Simon upcoming. Delivers a ground ball towards the right side over the head of the first baseman Putz, and the throw to first base is in time as the second baseman Miller in the shift throws over to Simon, and that will retire the side. We will stretch here in South Bend and bring you bottom of the 7th action when we come back on WCBN Sports Radio.
Jalen Jones.
New pitcher on the mound for the Wolverines, and it is a arm maybe many of you don't know of yet. This is Jalen Jones. He's thrown 1 inning on the season. He struck out the only batter he faced in his collegiate debut against Oklahoma down at Globe Life Park in Arlington. 1 inning total on the season, just 1 hit, 2 earned runs. He's walked 4. He allowed 1 double. He'll be facing off against Notre Dame's 1, 2, and 3. So, well, Jalen Jones, welcome to South Bend. You've got to face off against the top 3 bats for the Irish in a 10-2 ball game as everyone is now stretched out on the campus of Notre Dame. Jones, the big left-hander, with the glove settled in front of his face, goes above the head with the windup, steps with the left foot, delivers a fastball, and is a foul ball, a couple of feet foul down the right field line. 6 foot, 220 pounds, Thomasville, Georgia is where Jalen calls home. TNXL Academy. Here's his 0-1 to Spencer Myers, who has a grand slam back in the 2nd inning. Fastball misses above the strike zone. Jones, like the rest of the Wolverines today, rocking the stirrups. And a full set of hair coming out of the back of the navy hat with the maize block M. The 1-1. That one misses up and away from the strike zone. Plenty of athletic events going on here today. Lacrosse had a women's game beyond left center, and now in left field foul territory, it's apparently 3-1 Notre Dame winning in soccer against Purdue. There is strike number 2 as that is fouled back to the screen. So plenty going on here on the campus of Notre Dame. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Spencer Myers. Here's that long delivery from Jones, a fly ball into left. Deep but playable for Rogers. He jumps up, makes the catch. He could not tell where that wall was, but he still made a grab of pretty much the snow cone variety from Jordan Rogers. And there is now 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Third baseman number 9, Jack Brannigan.
Notre Dame in the ACC Atlantic. 1 game behind Louisville. They were swept by the Cardinals. Wake Forest right on their tail at 9-6. NC State behind them at 7-7. First pitch from Jones is up and in to Jack Brannigan. Lots of talented teams in the ACC. We saw Louisville for a 3-game set. Saw a very snowy game in which the Wolverines took after a delay, 17-6. Swung on and missed, 1-1 now. Notre Dame finds themselves in the top 5 at number 4, and at number 3 at the head of the Coastal Division in the ACC is the University of Miami, the U, at 13-2. Here's the 1-1 to Brannigan from Jones. That's a nice breaking ball that misses low and inside, but a nice change of pace. Jones goes through the same exact delivery and then just delivers a little floater. Here is the 2-1. Throws it in there for a foul ball down the right field line. Well out of play. You'd certainly like to see Jones get at least this full inning of work in. He threw against Oklahoma, threw against Texas Arlington, and then Florida Atlantic. There's a pop-up on the right field line, and sailing foul, but not out of play. Elliott and Vanner Mortal had an extremely long run and quickly ran out of room. Jones got to pitch in 2 close games this season, through 2/3 of an inning against UT Arlington in a 9-7 win. Back in mid to late February, he steps off the mound here to settle in for the 2-2 against Brannigan. Then threw against Florida Atlantic in a 9-8 loss the 1st of March. Breaking ball misses outside. Full count now to Jack Brannigan. Making just the 4th appearance of his career as a Michigan Wolverine. 3-2. This is lifted in the left center, sending Stort back. This is back to the track, and he makes the catch right as he nears the fake dirt in left center. 2 gone. Well, Notre Dame bats have put charges into the first 2 balls put in play off Jalen Jones. But it goes down as 2 long outs. Well done by Jones. Now here's Jared Miller. He's 0 for 4, the only player for the Irish to not reach base so far. And there's a line drive back to the screen. Jones looks like he's in the stretch and then takes a step back with the right foot, delivers a breaking ball that misses outside. And this is a really good team Michigan's playing against right now. Notre Dame scores a lot of runs. They do not allow many runs. The 1-1 from Jones misses above the strike zone. 2-1 now. I mean, if you're ranked the number 4 team in the country, it's expected that you'd be pretty good. 2-1 from Jones. Long delivery, not biting on the high cheese as Jared Miller. Plenty of baseball going around the United States now. Minor league in full action as long as everything stays put with COVID and weather and all the above. There's ball 4. Down to first base goes Jared Miller. First runner on here in the 7th inning. Major League also in full swing now. Nearby Tigers dropped the second of 3 to the Boston Red Sox today by the score of 5-3. The weather's getting plenty nice enough to head out to the ballpark. Now it certainly suggests next weekend head out to Ray Fisher Stadium and see the Wolverines play against bitter rival Ohio State. Their strike number 1 to Carter Putz. Ohio State struggling in the Big Ten right now. They can't find their stride. They won a couple days ago against Wright State. Here is the 0-1. Jones looks over to first, delivers, and a foul ball back to the screen. Jones ahead 0-2. Plenty of young bullpen arms for Michigan just looking to find their stride. Here is the 0-2 pitch. Checked his swing, and he did go. It's called for strike 3 regardless. And to the top of the 8th inning we go. Notre Dame scoreless. Well done by Jalen Jones. He walks 1 but leaves him over at first base. Let's head to the top of the 8th inning. Score is 10-2, Fighting Irish over the Wolverines heading into the 8th inning.
Wolverines in the
And here we go
top
from the top of the 8th inning. It's Jack Vanner Mortal to get things started for Michigan. He faces off against Liam Simon. Out there for his second inning of work. Allowed a single and then a walk in the 7th. Stranded runners on the corners. First pitch to Vanner Mortal catches the outside portion of the strike zone for strike number 1. Michigan hasn't scored since the 4th inning. Scoreless in the 1st through 3rd, then 5th through 7th innings. Crowd has pretty much exited at this point with Notre Dame leading by 8. Swung on and missed. No balls, 2 strikes to Vanner Mortal. 0 for 2 was hit by a pitch, scored a run in the 4th. He takes strike number 3 right down the middle. Just the 7th overall strikeout in this game for both teams. Michigan will make a change, and Dylan Stanton will get a chance at the plate for Michigan. Jordan Rogers taken out.
Pinch hitter for the Wolverines, number 9, Dylan Stanton.
Stanton has 29 ABs on the year. 6 hits, good for a .207 average. Sophomore right-handed swinger looks at ball number 1 from Simon. Looking straight into the mitt. Simon to the belt, back to the numbers and delivers, and that's ball number 2 up and in to Dylan. Got his first collegiate hit against Eastern Carolina on March 5th. That was down in the Keith LeClaire Classic in Carolina. There's strike number 1 on the outer portion. Didn't play in a game last year. Here's the 2-1. Swung on, missed, big cut. Hopping out of the strike zone goes Stanton. He played in the series, the first series that is played at Ray Fisher Stadium, had 3 hits in 1 game against Dayton. He also added a sac fly. Here's the 2-2. This one's popped down the right field line and foul. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's a pitch from Simon. That one's popped up, and that one will safely reach out of play for Dylan Stanton. Clark Elliott still in the on-deck circle for Michigan. And Joe Stewart currently stands in the hole net extended dugout. Simon, the big right-hander, into his windup and delivery, just misses with a breaking ball outside. Three balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the 8th. Line drive right side over the jumping second baseman Miller. And Dylan Stanton is on base in his pinch hit opportunity. He replaced Jordan Rogers, who was 0 for 2. He walked in the 2nd inning, where Michigan left the bases loaded in both the 1st and the 2nd. Here is Clark Elliott, who is 2 for 4. First hit since March 23rd for Dylan Stanton, and there is strike number 1 to Clark Elliott. Clark's average at 344. Entered at 339 today. And that one's fouled back to the screen. Now 0-2 to Clark. Infield single to the right side of the field in the first inning. And a double into the outfield for Elliott in the fourth. Here's the 0-2. Fouled away. Well done to spoil that one from Elliott. Simon's ERA all the way down to 5.19 now. Started today at 6.5. Here comes the 0-2 again. That one's way above the catcher, Lamanna. And easily walking to second base goes Dylan Stanton. Third wild pitch thrown by the pitcher, Liam Simon. Runner now on second base with one out in the top of the 8th inning in South Bend. Had a really nice day for baseball, and the clouds spoiled a little bit of that, but now as night settles in, it's still a wonderful night here at Notre Dame's campus. Here's a floater in the center, and that will drop in front of the center fielder, Myers. It bounces away. Clark Elliott will head all the way to third base with blazing speed, and he will be in there safely. That was a nice relay in from the outfield. It's now 10-3. And that will depend just on how that's scored. I'm not sure that'll go down as a triple, but it bounced right in front of the center fielder, Myers. And Coatsy had to make the throw all the way in from right. So Stanton scores easily.
Center fielder number 5, Joe Stewart.
Here comes Joe Stewart. He is 3 for 4 today. Michigan trails by 7, 10-3 after Clark Elliott's hit to center. There's strike number 1. Liam Simon still throwing it in there. And that hit for Clark Elliott does go down as a triple. Here's a line drive foul. Down the right field line from Joe Stewart. Second triple on the season for Clark Elliott. Just the 6th across the whole starting lineup for Michigan. The 0-2 to Stewart is fouled away. That was a nasty breaking ball from Simon. Stewart just got on the edge of the bat. No balls and 2 strikes to Joe Stewart with 1 out here in the 8th. Swung on and missed. Another dirty breaking ball. And Stewart just went fishing across the plate for it. Third strikeout now for Liam Simon.
Second baseman number 3.
Second in the inning.
Ted Burton.
And here is Ted Burton. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. First pitch from Simon. That one's lifted into left center, and trouble as Cole goes back to the track wall and gone. Ted Burton, home run number 8 on the season. Michigan has cut the deficit in half. It's now 10-5. Notre Dame in front. Now up to a team-leading 38 RBIs for Ted Burton.
Catcher number 8.
Clark Elliott comes home to score, and that just looked really nice off the bat from Ted Burton. Here's Jimmy Obertop. Obertop holds off any ball in the dirt. Jimmy will settle back into the box for the 1-0. Big swing and a miss. He certainly wanted to replicate what Ted Burton just did. And Obertop will now go over to his manager, Eric Bakich. Bakich right in his ear, giving him some words of wisdom before the 1-1 from Simon. Third baseman Brannigan, perhaps with an idea about what they're talking about, as He makes his way to the infield grass. And Obertop will return to that right-handed batter's box. The 1-1. He waits on it. 2 balls and 1 strike now. That one missed high. Here's the 2-1. Ball number 3. 2 consecutive fastballs that have missed above the zone. 10-5 is the lead for the Fighting Irish. Wolverines get 3 here in the 8th. Ball 4. And Obertop makes his way down to first base. Second walk from Liam Simon, and here comes Link Jarrett. Eyes on the bullpen the whole way. And here comes a new arm for Notre Dame. We'll take a break. The score is 10-5 Notre Dame with 1 runner on here in the 8th inning with 2 outs. We'll be right back from WCBN Sports Radio. We welcome you back to Frank Eck Stadium here in South Bend. New arm for the Irish is Radek Burkholz, 6 foot, 200-pound freshman from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and Valor Christian High School. Right-hander on the season, 4.05 ERA without a decision. Gone as far as 2 innings into a game. That was in late February against Monmouth. Here comes Tito Flores for the Wolverines. They have 3 runs here in the top of the 8th inning. As Burkholz comes in for Liam Simon. First pitch to Tito Flores. Ground ball left side towards Brannigan. He will make a throw to first, and first pitch swinging and first pitch outing goes Tito Flores here in the 8th. Let's head to the bottom of the 8th inning, perhaps 1 full inning to play here in South Bend. The score, Notre Dame 10, Michigan 5.
ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
From the bottom of the 8th inning in South Bend,
Now playing in left field, number 22,
Tito Flores enters the game for the Wolverines. He'll play in left field.
Casey Buckley, and now on the mound, number 4, Brandon Lawrence.
There's also a new catcher in the game for the Wolverines. Casey Buckley enters for Jimmy Overtop. And, well, Brandon Lawrence will be on the hill for the Wolverines, making his collegiate debut on the mound. Brandon, typically a middle infielder for Michigan. Well, might as well give you the numbers on him. 6 foot, 190. Santa Ynez, California. The Wolverine sophomore wears number 4. And he'll face off against Ryan Cole, 5, 6, and 7. As the dark sky continues to dim here in South Bend, as first pitch is fouled off the face mask of Casey Buckley, the new Wolverine catcher. 10-5 is the lead for Notre Dame, looking to take home their 21st victory of the season. Breaking ball from Lawrence, bends in there for a strike, 0-2. Then at Dunn High School, league MVP as a senior. Lawrence had a .507 batting average as a senior at Dunn. Line drive towards the shortstop, right through the wickets of Riley Bertram and in the left field. And the leadoff man is on, and Ryan Cole. And here comes Jack Ziska. That was a really hard hit ball that will go down as an error.
Number 7, Jack Ziska.
The first error of the game against the Wolverines that will go against Riley Bertram if you're keeping score at home. E6. Here's Jack Ziska. He looks at ball number 1 on a changeup. Looked like from Brandon Lawrence. Lots of speed on the base paths in Ryan Cole. 14 stolen bags. Both teams now have 1 error. Fastball from Lawrence just misses below the knees of Ziska. Has a .364 average in relatively limited action. He looks at a ball 3 inside, bounces off the glove of Buckley, and grooving into second base goes Cole on a pass ball. Notre Dame looking for perhaps some insurance heading into the 9th now, as Michigan put up a 3 spot in the 8th. Currently in the bottom of the 8th inning with no outs. And Lawrence's 3-0 misses outside with a fastball. 4 consecutive balls, and down to first base goes Jack Ziska, his 3rd time walking today.
Right fielder number 42, Brooks Coatsy.
Here is Brooks Coatsy. Cole being shaded at second base by Burton. Fastball misses inside. Coatsy shifts out of the way. One ball and no strikes to Coatsy as Lawrence comes set. Glove at the face, even stance, and there's a line drive in the left. And they're going to challenge the arm of Tito Flores. He throws all the way home, and it is caught by Fry and cut off. So Notre Dame does indeed get some insurance here. It's now 11-5 Fighting Irish. And an RBI for Brooks Coatsy.
Catcher number 3, David LaManna.
Here is David LaManna. 6-run ball game now. Runners on first and second base. First pitch in there for a strike from Lawrence. Really good batter with runners in scoring position. .440. Here's the 0-1. Curveball bounces a couple feet in front of home plate. 1 ball, 1 strike now. Over 3 hours into this one here in South Bend. 1 ball, 1 strike to Lamanna. Lawrence misses with ball number 2. No outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Notre Dame already tagged on 1, taking a 6-run lead over the Wolverines. Notre Dame, the 4th-ranked team in the country. There's ball 3. Missing inside is Lawrence. Michigan had a great chance to take an early lead in this game. Loaded the bases with no outs in the first. Loaded the bases as well in the second. Came home with 0 runs. This one's popped up and out of play. Fills up the count at 3-2. Michigan had plenty of chances to snag an early lead. They did indeed let it go to waste in the first 2 innings. Pitch from Lawrence, line drive towards the second baseman, Bertram. Throw over to first, and he decides not to get the force out as Bertram was unable to cover second base. Burton made the play. The double B combo in the middle infield had a bit of miscommunication there. They do get an out, though. Just goes as a 4-3 putout. Here is Zach Preidner. Infield comes in. Line drive left center field. Down in front of Flores. 2 runners coming home to score. The throw home is not in time, and Buckley will cut it off. It's a 2 RBI single for Zach Preidner. Ziska and Coates both come home to score comfortably. A good throw from Flores, but lots of speed from Coates at second base, and he was nowhere near tagging if Flores would have caught that ball. Now 13-5 Notre Dame. First pitch to Spencer Myers is strike number 1. He has the grand slam in the second inning. The 0-1. That one misses outside. A breaking ball from Lawrence. A single and advancing on the throw. Preidner at second. There's the 1-1. Breaking ball misses low. Still only 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Notre Dame has now knotted up the 8th with Michigan at 3 runs apiece. Two balls, 1 strike. Swung on and missed. Big cut from Spencer Myers. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. A runner at second is Preidner. Pitch to Myers is a ground ball right side. First baseman Vandermortel flips over to Lawrence, and he is out at first base. Runner will now advance to third. 2 outs here in the 8th inning, and perhaps the last chance for Notre Dame's bats to get some more insurance before the top of the 9th inning. And Brannigan.
Third baseman number 9, Jack Brannigan.
Brannigan's 6th attempt at the plate now. He's 1 for 3, 2 walks. Been scored 1 time. Line drive into center, and there's the insurance run. Now a 14-5 game. Notre Dame leads by 9, and a pinch hitter will now take the plate.
DM Jefferson.
DM Jefferson. He'll take over for Jared Miller, who was 0 for 4. Eric Bakich will head to the hill. They'll have a quick chat with Brandon Lawrence. Whether or not they will keep Lawrence in the game, I don't know. And they will go to a new arm, the Wolverines will, here in the bottom of the 8th inning, just extending the game just a little bit. In the bottom of the 8th, the score is 14-5, Notre Dame here in South Bend. We'll be right back on WCBN. Eighth arm of the game used by the Wolverines. Now on to pitch is Ryan Zimmer, the 6'5", 230-pounder from St. Clair. The sophomore enters with, not great numbers, a 54 ERA, but only over 1 1/3 innings pitched. Allowed 5 hits, 8 earned runs. He's walked 6 and struck out 1. DM Jefferson will pinch hit in place of Jared Miller. Looks like down at first base now is a pinch runner. That'll be Nick DeMarco.
Number 20, Nick DeMarco.
Jefferson bats .235 on the season. Eight hits and 34 at-bats. Notre Dame has a 4 spot here in the bottom of the 8th. First pitch from Zimmer in their first strike. Big, lengthy righty for Michigan. Comes set. Right at the jaw line, then drops down to the belt. And a long delivery in there for strike number 2, and DM just looks at it. The 0-2. That one missed inside. It crossed up the catcher, Casey Buckley. Nice to see guys like Ryan Zimmer getting some action here, especially against a team ranked number 4 in the country. How often really will you get to say that? It's a sophomore. Delivers a fastball that misses, and he lost his cap up on the hill as well. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Settles in closer to the first base side of the rubber. Settles for the 2-2. Swung on and fouled back to the screen. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning here in South Bend. Ground ball back up the middle towards the shortstop, Bertram, and he is not there in time. Bertram thought that he'd get there before the pinch runner, Nick DeMarco. DeMarco ends up safe, and Bertram trying to urge Eric Bakich to review this, and they will.
Previous play is under review.
any other time. That is a pure base hit for DM Jefferson. And the ACC Network Extra will take a quick look at this one as Ryan Cole, Carter Putz, as Ryan Cole's name is on the scoreboard. Lordy me, Carter Putz would be the next Irishman up to the plate if they confirm this on replay. For those still listening out there, Michigan has 3 this weekend, Friday through Sunday against Michigan State. And the following weekend they play 3 against bitter rival Ohio State. Also Friday through Sunday at Ray Fisher. That'll be a lot of fun. WCBN will have all 3 games from the Fish. And after review, the runner is out. Bertram is confirmed, and it ends up just being a fielder's choice. Ground ball to the shortstop and a little FC. That'll bring us to the top of the 9th inning. Last chance for the Wolverines. They trailed it by 9 here in South Bend. Radek Burkholz back to work for Notre Dame. The Irish lead it by 9. Last chance for the Wolverines. 3 outs to go until Notre Dame perhaps clinches their 21st victory on the season. The Irish looking to go 21-5. Brannigan out at third base. DeMarco is his substitute. So here's Riley Bertram looking at strike number 1 on the corner. Joey Spence checks in at first base, and also there's strike number 2. And also there is a change at second as Jack Penny will take over for Jared Miller. No changes in the outfield. Lamanna sticks behind home plate. There's a foul ball right over the head of Lamanna, right on cue. Breisner sticks around at shortstop. Cole, Myers, and Coetzee are all in the outfield. Lamanna behind the dish. Swung on and missed. And there is a strikeout for the pitcher, Radek Burkholz. His first of the game, and strikeout number 6 for Irish pitching. Michigan down to their final 2 outs. Here's Matt Fry. Fry is 1 for 4, singled in the second. Fly out, strikeout, ground out. You see strike number 1. Tough day for Michigan. Of course, don't put much into the bottom of the 8th inning as they bring on Brandon Lawrence. Curveball misses well outside. 1-1. Michigan had plenty of chances, though, in the first couple of innings in this game. There's strike number 2 on the inside corner. 1-2 now. One out in the top of the 9th inning. There's the 1-2 as the shift is on. Ball number 2 low and outside. More life for Matt Fry. Average now at 262. Good on base percentage, 391. There's a 2-2. Swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts for Burkholz. Jack Vandermortel, who's been struck out twice today, is the Wolverines' last chance, down 9.
Jack Van Remortel.
Man, wouldn't it be nice if Van Immortal could put a little extra into one and not only notch his first home run of the season, but a 9 RBI home run. Michigan trails by 9 here in the 9th. First pitch popped up down the right field side and out of play as Spence quickly will walk back to his first base position. Reminder to you to tune in on Friday night as the Wolverines will take on the big bad Michigan State Spartans from Jackson Field in Lansing. Their strike number 2. Man, is that a beautiful curveball from Braddock Burkholz. But the home of the Lansing Lugnuts is where Michigan will next play baseball. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the 9th. Game on the line. Strike 3. He struck out the side. That is the game. Notre Dame takes this one by a score of 14-5. Michigan had plenty of chances, especially in the first 2 innings. Michigan, they loaded the bases in the first and second, could not score. Notre Dame strikes with 5 in the bottom of the second, and a big thanks to the grand slam from the leadoff man Spencer Myers. And Notre Dame runs away with this one 14-5. The 4th-ranked team in the country now improves to 21-5. Michigan drops to 17-14 in this one-game set between Michigan and Notre Dame. Wrapping it up from South Bend, I really thank everyone who stuck around with me throughout this 9-inning long game between Michigan and Notre Dame. 3.5 hours on the clock. Final score, Notre Dame 14, Michigan 5. Zach Linfield signing off from WCBN Ann Arbor.